The Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Honourable Prime Minister, Leader of the Opposition, fellow Members of Parliament, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The topic that I'll be speaking on is prosecuting the threat, the DPP and Fiji's response to illicit drug trade. Esteemed Members of Parliament, and to the people of Fiji, whose safety and well-being have brought us to this chamber today, I rise to address this Parliament on a subject that does not lend itself to reassurance of comforting language. The illicit drug trade in Fiji is a genuine concern. It is causing damage to our families, communities, young people, and the integrity of the institutions that we have established to safeguard them. It is also becoming increasingly sophisticated. But I also intend to inform this Parliament, and through this Parliament, the Fijian people, that this government is not remaining inactive. Every day, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, our law enforcement agencies, and our regional and international partners are involved in this conflict. Also, we are making progress. Honourable members, advancement in this field are not always apparent. It does not always make an announcement with great fanfare. Occasionally, it manifests itself in the form of prosecution and has been meticulously and discreetly crafted over the course of several months. Sometimes it manifests as an immunity decision carefully deliberated and conditionally granted that transforms a witness into a tool of justice against those who believe themselves to be impenetrable. And occasionally, as this Parliament will soon hear, it is delivered in the form of 4.5 tons of methamphetamine, which have been successfully prosecuted in the High Court. We have a task to complete. Mr. Speaker, we are currently in the process of doing so. In order to comprehend the response, Parliament must initially comprehend the peril in its entirety. The illicit drug trade in Fiji is no longer a localized issue of domestic supply and consumption. It has become, and I use this term deliberately, transnational. Fiji has been designated as both a transit point and a market by foreign cartels, who possess sophisticated criminal methodologies, encrypted communications, corrupting influence, and massive financial resources. They are present. Additionally, they have identified local collaborators who are amenable. Our domestic traffickers have undergone transformation. They are no longer merely distributing narcotics into our communities. However, the consequences are evident in every district of this nation. They are currently exporting narcotics to Australia and New Zealand, where the demand for consumption is at an optimum level on a global scale. In this context, Fiji's geography, which is one of our greatest assets as a nation, has become one of our greatest vulnerabilities. We are situated at the Pacific intersection. The organizations have taken notice. These nefarious organizations are not operating in isolation. Corruption ensues whenever substantial sums of money are transferred. The allegations of corruption that are frequently leveled against enforcement agencies in this country are not fabricated. They are anticipated outcome of a criminal industry that possesses the financial resources and strategic motivation to compromise individuals. In the narcotics trade, the most problem is a tight and stringent enforcement environment. Additionally, they implement business solutions to resolve business issues, which involve buying of individuals. I do not intend to criticize honest officers who are employed by our law enforcement agencies and police force. I'm stating this because it is imperative that Parliament comprehends that the drug trade is not solely engaged in a shipment-based conflict with us. It is opposing us with patience, influence, and money. Additionally, our response must be commensurate with the challenge. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution has been at the vanguard of this struggle, and I want Parliament to understand the full extent of its significance. The DPP's office is not limited to the sheer attendance of prosecutions. It has consistently and brazenly advocated for increased international cooperation in intelligence sharing, transnational investigation, digital evidence gathering, enforcement generally by attending multi-stakeholder meetings. It has done so from a position of principled independence and with clarity that has occasionally resulted in uncomfortable conversations with our partners. The DPP's office has played a critical role in the formulation and consultation of a new narcotics bill, as highlighted by the Minister for Policing. Mr. Speaker, sir, this bill is currently under consideration by the AG's chambers. This legislation will be transformative when it is implemented. This will transform our existing legislative framework. It will create a specialized anti-narcotics bureau. Additionally, it will allocate the primary obligation for the rehabilitation and care of individuals whose lives have been adversely affected by addiction to the government in collaboration with community stakeholders. This is of paramount importance because enforcement without rehabilitation is not a viable solution. Mr. Speaker, sir, it functions as perpetually open entrance. Additionally, this government is dedicated to closing that door. Mr. Speaker, I would like to refer to the record. The importation of substantial quantities of hard narcotics is currently underway in Fiji. It's not a speculative notion. They are prosecuted facts. The Office of DP effectively prosecuted the importation of 4.5 tons of methamphetamine last year. 4.5 tons. To provide honorable members with a more comprehensive understanding of the situation, it is important to note that it's not a consignment that is standard for the domestic market of Fiji. This is a cartel operation. They utilize our ports and waters as a gateway to regional market valued at hundreds of millions of dollars. I would like to discuss the issue of immunity in a transparent manner, Mr. Speaker, sir. Immunity decisions are not widely supported. They are not intended to be. There will always be those who question why anyone should be spared when the state provides immunity to an accuser in exchange for evidence and cooperation. The response is both pragmatic and principled. Immunity is a prosecutorial tool that is employed to prosecute those who are more guilty rather than safeguard the guilty. This is accomplished by utilizing the most reliable evidence feasible. Each immunity offers is a contingent upon certain conditions. Those conditions must be adhered to by all accused individuals who receive it. And each decision to grant immunity is made with single objective in mind, to guarantee that the state can present its case to the court in a manner that is fair, complete, and convincing. The decision to grant immunity is not taken casually. They are created with the intention of achieving justice, not in place of it. Mr. Speaker, sir, the public discourse regarding the illicit drug in Fiji has intensified, and this is entirely appropriate. There is widespread concern among the populace. They desire action, they desire outcomes, and the severity of their alarm is reflected in certain measures that have been proposed in public discourse. Measures that are significantly beyond the bounds of what is permissible in a functioning democracy. I comprehend that alarm. I'm in agreement with it. However, I must be unequivocal with the Fijian people and this parliament. The solution to lawlessness is not embedment of the law. It is the complete and unflinching implementation of it. We will not combat drug trade by assuming a persona that is not our own. The rights that distinguish us as a democratic society will not be compromised in order to prosecute those who do not value those rights. That route does not really result in victory. Rather, it leads to an alternative form of defeat. The narcotics trade necessitates meticulous management. It is imperative to address it thoroughly. It is imperative that the issue be resolved within the limits of the constitutional framework and the law, which the Fijian populace has long recognized as the foundation of their democracy. Enforcement is not hindered by accountability. It is what establishes the legitimacy of our enforcement. One of the most potent weapons against organized crime is legitimacy, and which is the public confidence that the state operates in accordance with the law, even when pursuing those violated. At our peril, we remove that weapon from the equation. Mr. Speaker, all is not lost. It is important to reiterate that not all is lost, providing that we approach the illicit drug trade with intelligence, coordination, adequate resources, and sustained political will. The fight against it is manageable. Additionally, the government is providing all of that. The military and police have initiated cooperative operations in the anti-narcotic sector. Charges and prosecution will be the outcome of certain operations. Some, due to the nature of intelligence work, will not generate immediate visible results. However, they will generate intelligence that informs future enforcement actions. The joint operations also serve as a more general purpose. They are signal to the cartels, domestic traffickers, and those who may be tempted to compromise our enforcement environment that this government, the coalition government, is prepared and will use all of its constitutional legal recourse in this conflict. Honest leadership necessitates honest accounting, Mr. Speaker. I must inform Parliament that in addition to this advancement, I have detailed there are voids, structural, and recourse, if left unattended, will restrict our effectiveness irrespective of the dedication of our prosecutors and officers. The illicit drug trade is one of the most significant challenges that Fiji and the broader Pacific region are currently confronting. It is sophisticated, well-funded, corrosive, and patient. It does not respond to rhetoric. It is only responsive to action that is sustained, disciplined, and adequately resourced, and that is taken in accordance with the law, with accountability, and with a long term in mind. The coalition government is dedicated to the cause of action. Our prosecutors are dedicated to this endeavor. Our officers are dedicated to this endeavor. I am present in Parliament today to provide an account of that commitment. I am not here to declare victory. Rather, I am here to report progress, to identify the challenge honestly, and to request the resources and political support that will determine the continuation of that progress. To the families throughout the nation who have lost a loved one to addiction, who have witnessed a husband, wife, child, or sibling ravaged by this trade, I would like to inform you that this government is aware of your situation. Your family circumstances are neither inevitable nor permissible. The message from this government is equally plain to those involved in the drug trade, whether as foreign cartel operators or local participants. The office of the DPP is meticulous, persistent, and on the way. Our democracy is put to the test by the narcotics trade. We will not fail that examination. I am grateful to see the Director of Public Prosecution and the dedicated personnel of that office for their service. I am grateful to the Fiji Police Force, the Republic of Fiji Military Forces, and all our enforcement personnel who on a daily basis carry out this fight without recognition and occasionally at personal risk. We will complete the task. Thank you, and Pinagwale, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Thank you, Minister for Justice. Thank you.